I don't know how you guys felt about it. This defense did not deserve this offense, Joe.
No, I think it's a great point. Listen, the offense struggled all game long, and I think we do need to start there, right? Because it was that play call on 2nd and goal for the 1, and you pitch the ball back all the way to the 9-yard line. Mac, are you just yelling at the TV set at that point? No! What'd you think?
I was at the game, and I couldn't believe they did it. I couldn't believe they did it because I remember a couple years ago, and you might have been at the game, Joe, at the Big 12 championship game, and TCU's magical year, and they've got Kansas State in overtime, and they've got a 3rd and goal at the 1, and they turn and hand the ball off to Kendre Miller twice, and they get it stopped twice. And everybody on social media, including then Texans or I guess Cardinals defensive end J.J. Watt, goes crazy, which is you cannot stop a QB sneak from gaining about a yard. And I thought, why do these coaches get so cute when all you have to do is just push forward with the quarterback? And I know, there's some question whether or not Arch Manning was available because that had been Arch Manning's specialty. He had done it earlier in that half on a 4th and 2 or 4th and 1, and they didn't do it with Quinn Ewers, and they go all the way back, and it blows up the game basically. And I see it time and time again why these guys get so cute with themselves and why they thought they were going to go wide in a short, condensed spot like that against that defense is dumb.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, listen, there was no misdirection element to the play. It was just throw it out and hope. And listen, they may have had them numbered up. There may have been an extra blocker, but you had to be perfect in that blocking scheme, and they weren't even close. There were 3 guys who had a clear run to the ball carrier 2 seconds after the ball was snapped. Mike, what jumped out to you?
Well, it's the same thing that Mac is talking about. It's the Arch Manning of it all. And I think that Steve Sarkisian, to his unending credit, spent a lot of this season trying to defend, trying to, on some level, protect Quinn Ewers and the fact that Quinn is the starting quarterback of this team. He's the leader of this team. And I think he was right in doing so. Quinn deserved the opportunity to be the guy for this team this year. But as Mac mentioned, as we saw in multiple games this year, they had gadget plays. They had wrinkles with Arch where they could bring him in key spots. He did it in close-in, goal-to-go type situations earlier this season. And I can't help but wonder if it seeped into Sark's brain in that moment, even if subconsciously, that he needed to protect Ewers and Ewers' opportunity to have that moment for himself, rather than making the right play call, which was to incorporate him at least on one of the. They had 6 straight snaps inside the 8-yard line. The 3rd and 3, the 2 1st and goals, 2nd down, 3rd down, 4th down and goal. You had 6 consecutive snaps inside the 8-yard line. One of those plays, bring 16 on the field and incorporate his ability to, as you said, Joe, force Ohio State to defend multiple things here. He should have had at least a bite at the apple in that sequence.
Here's the one thing about this, and as much as I want to make sure that we are critical of the play call, I will say this. Steve Sarkisian, because you mentioned it, Mike, when you talk about protecting Quinn Ewers, he actually protected his quarterback with the way he called that game. It was dink and dunk. He wouldn't let him make that bad throw down the field. He protected him, and he got them still on the lip of the cup of pulling an upset against a team that was better. So I don't want to blow him up that much because he did so much right. But I do think this would have been the perfect moment for, and I don't know, you make a great point, Mac, about the availability of Arch, because I've been waiting. I think that Sark had been setting up the play action and then have Arch throw the pass. I felt like he had been setting that up since the A&M game, which I was at, and in those 2 playoff games when Arch came in, and then he didn't play the 3rd game, so you're not giving defensive coordinators any more to look at. And I was like, when is he going to do it? When is he going to do it? And I thought that would have been a perfect spot. And it would have been the guru cute play that Steve Sarkisian could have hung his hat on, but for whatever reason, it never came to pass. And that was
because, like you said, Joe, they went 69 yards in 6 plays before that 6-play sequence where they went nowhere.
But that's
like
also
they went marching down the field and were right there should have tied the football game.
And that's also indicative of Texas all year, stumbling in the red zone. They could move the ball between the 20s up and down. I still look at this and say it boils down to the emotional letdown of the Henderson touchdown right before half. You battle back and tie that thing 7-7. You have almost all the momentum in the building on your side, and you let up that play to let Ohio State walk in with a 7-point lead again. That was devastating, no matter how you look at it.
Absolute
Washington beat a good Texas team last season in the national semifinal. A better Ohio State team beat a better Texas team in the same game 1 year later. So it's really hard to kill Texas too much on this. We are splitting the finest of hairs on this.
We are.
They have been a top 4 team in consecutive years. A top 4 team.
And talking about a program that had been so down, and now they're finally back.
Yeah, and now you can say that for sure. I mean, they have all the advantages. They're finally taking advantage of it. But the bottom line is they had a shot in this game, and they didn't get it done. There's no other way. Coaches didn't, players didn't. They just didn't get it done. And because Ohio State's just better.